Hi everyone, Janie here. Welcome back to my garden. There's something about early mornings in the garden that just feels different. Before the heat settles in, before the emails and the errands and the distractions of the day, it's quiet, slow, and peaceful. The birds are awake before everyone else. The bees are just starting to buzz. The garden almost feels like it's stretching awake for the day. These little mornings out here have always been one of my favorite parts of gardening. It's almost like gardening is my excuse to be outside to enjoy this perfect time of day. So today, I thought I'd just bring you along for a slow morning in my garden. No big project, no huge makeover, just the simple rhythm of caring for a garden, feeding the animals, watering plants, pruning, tidying up, and enjoying the quiet moments in between. So grab a cup of coffee and come spend the morning with me in my garden. I start every day, as I'm sure a lot of you do too, with my morning coffee. As the days get hotter, I'm trying to get outside earlier and earlier. In the middle of summer, getting a late start in the garden is a huge mistake because once that heat arrives, it arrives fast. I always try to get out here right as the sun is rising, but as is with most days, today I was a little bit late, but I still made it relatively early. Everything feels softer at this hour, the light, the temperature, even the sounds. You can hear the birds chirping in the trees, the bees slowly starting their morning work, and the squirrels rustling around in the branches overhead, much to Monty's chagrin. Before everyone fully wakes up, it's almost like my garden belongs entirely to me just for a little while. And I think that's why I love mornings out here so much. After coffee, my first stop is to go check on the animals. The barn cats have already been fed because the second they hear me get up and walk into the kitchen in the morning, they're immediately meowing at the back door for food. But now it's the bunnies' turn. I've really been loving growing these beds of treats for the bunnies and chickens. Salad greens, herbs, cover crops, bits of lettuce and greens. It's so fun to have these little treats ready to go for them, and Hermione and Annie get so excited about it. It's practical, but it also just feels really sweet and connected somehow, and they definitely appreciate it. Good morning, girls. Good morning. Next up are the chickens and their morning snack. Their absolute favorite is the buckwheat cover crop by far. It grows so fast, and somehow these girls eat it even faster. These chickens are so sweet though. If I sit here long enough, they'll eventually hop up onto my lap or even my shoulders and just hang out with me for a while I'm out here with them. They're still young, so no eggs yet, but I'm honestly so excited for the day that I can come out every morning and gather fresh eggs while giving them their treats. There's just something so peaceful and grounding about these little daily routines.
What about this one? What about spinach? Yum? Good? Oh, that's good, huh? That's a good one. Look at all this from the ground. Okay, girls. See you later. See you later. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Have a good day. I'll be back.
After checking in on the animals, I start watering. One thing I've noticed as the season progresses is how much easier watering becomes once plants are actually planted in the ground. A month ago, it felt like I was watering endless pots every single day. Now, so much of the garden is planted and settling in, which means my watering chores are getting smaller and smaller. Of course, I still have my little stash area of plants waiting to get into the ground because honestly, what gardener doesn't have a little stash of plants waiting to be planted? I try and water all of these as early in the morning as possible before the heat of the day arrives because pots dry out so quickly once the temperatures climb. And honestly, morning watering can be really relaxing and a great start to the day. just slowly moving through the garden, checking on everything, seeing what's blooming, what needs attention, what's thriving. It's one of the best ways to really stay connected to your garden. And finally, it's Monty's favorite time of day. If I don't throw the ball for him in the morning, he absolutely will not let me get anything else done. You all have seen it on camera. The problem is that Monty has apparently hidden or lost almost every tennis ball we own at this point. So every single morning lately starts with a 5 to 10 minute search party, trying to locate one somewhere in the garden. At this point, I honestly think we just need to buy one of those giant buckets of tennis balls and keep backups stored somewhere for emergencies. Because apparently, one tennis ball is never enough for Mr. Monty. Before getting started with my gardening tasks for the day, I opened up some garden mail. This package was actually from HoseLink, and if you didn't know, they make much more than just retractable hoses. They have a lot of really great garden tools and supplies, but one of my favorite things they sell are these pop-up garden bags. They're sturdy, lightweight, easy to drag around in the garden, and they hold so much because they're taller than the other green ones that I like to use as well. As it turns out, I was definitely going to need them for today's pruning project. If you see Jason in the background, he is being very sweet and helping me fertilize some of my annuals today with the Proven Winners water-soluble fertilizer. So that's what he's doing in the background. Today's big garden task for me was pruning the star jasmine espalier. I always wait until after the main spring bloom flush is finished before giving this espalier its major pruning for the year, because I want to save as many blooms as I possibly can. I probably could have waited a little longer because there were still a few blooms left, but I really wanted to get this area cleaned up before the summer heat fully arrived. This is definitely the big prune of the season. I cut it way back to reshape all the diamonds and clean up the structure again. And if you grow star jasmine, you know you definitely need to wear gloves and long sleeves when pruning because the sap is incredibly sticky. It doesn't irritate my skin personally, but it gets everywhere. If it gets on your skin, you'll be in the shower scrubbing it off for quite a while. Believe me, I know. The other thing I've learned with this espalier is that I can only work on it super early in the morning or late in the evening. The sun reflects off this white wall and creates this unbelievable pocket of heat, or this little microclimate right here. I swear it feels at least 20 degrees warmer standing here in the late morning, which is another reason why I think adding the vine to this wall was the right decision in the first place. Not only does it soften the wall visually and add structure to the garden, but it genuinely cools the space down too. It's actually one of the reasons I want to add something similar to the back wall of the house as well, and you all will hopefully see that later on this summer. I slowly worked from one end of the espalier to the other, stepping back constantly to look at the shape and make sure everything stayed balanced. And by the end, seeing those clean diamond shapes again just reminded me how much I love having an espalier in the garden. It's definitely one of the most labor-intensive features I've added, but I really think it's worth it. After I was done with the espalier, it was time for a little break. I've been really good to myself this season with taking breaks throughout the day, drinking water, reapplying sunscreen, and just taking my time. And of course, had to have another cup of coffee. I'm getting into a terrible habit lately of having 3 cups of coffee a day instead of my usual 2. And I know that's not a good idea, but somehow that 3rd cup of coffee always sounds like exactly what I need. Next up on my task list was this cardoon that has definitely seen better days. Part of it got damaged while the driveway was being resurfaced about a month ago, and since then, it's kind of collapsed and broken apart. So it was finally time for me to cut it back. I was honestly so disappointed because I thought I had completely missed these beautiful blooms on this plant this year. But luckily, just in the past few days, a few flowers started opening. And when I was cutting it back, I noticed them and I was just so happy to see them this year. I was actually able to cut them and bring them inside for a bouquet before cutting the plant all the way down. And once again, I completely underestimated how long this job would actually take in the garden. In my mind, this was a quick 5-minute cleanup project. In reality, it took over an hour, maybe closer to an hour and a half, possibly even 2 hours. Honestly, I'm not totally sure. Eventually, I admitted defeat and went to grab the Sawzall from the garage because these trunks were enormous. It still completely amazes me that this giant, dramatic plant started from one tiny seed. Gardening really does have a way of making you appreciate time and patience. I'll probably get some fresh foliage growth again later this year, but the dramatic blooms will have to wait until next season. Once the cardoon was finally cleaned up, I could actually access my last project of the morning, dealing with these pomegranate suckers. This tree wants so badly to become a giant shrub, and I am constantly trying to convince it otherwise. There just isn't enough room for that in this space. This is actually one of the few original plants left from when we first moved here, and honestly, I do really love it. The foliage is beautiful, the flowers are gorgeous, and of course, the pomegranates themselves are amazing later in the season. But the suckers on this tree are relentless. I even used sucker punch on them earlier this year, and somehow it still came back looking like this. If I thought I could successfully dig this tree up and move it somewhere else where it could fully take its natural form, I probably would. But realistically, I think sucker management is just part of my life now. By this point, it was getting close to noon and I was definitely starting to feel tired. But the espalier looked crisp and tidy again, the cardoon was all cleaned up, the pomegranate was under control, at least temporarily. I brought the cardoon blooms inside and put them in water and officially called it a day. Thank you so much for spending the morning in the garden with me. I hope this inspired you to slow down a little, enjoy your own space, and maybe spend a little time outside too. I hope you all have a chance to get in your garden today.